floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
All right, well, welcome back for another podcast, another week. This week with me, I have Brody. Actually, the whole week I haven't heard from Ply all week, so I have no idea. But I'm packed all day tomorrow, so we got a good man with us, Brody.
The one and only Brodacious Gaming on Twitch. Gonna get my plug in there and get it out of the way. How you doing, Preacher?
You definitely should go watch. You'd love it. I'm doing fine. But I think the reason you're a good man is because you're a good father, you're a hard worker, and you're cute as a button.
Oh, thanks, babe. Oh, thanks.
Mwah.
True American here. I work. I built a house. I have chickens. All around guy. I'd stand up, but I prefer to sit.
Yeah. Oh, almost got the Tim the Tap Man joke right.
Almost. I know. I didn't want to get sued.
Yeah, no, I get it.
For the millions of viewers that we'll have on this podcast.
Oh yeah, no, we absolutely, especially without Ply. I always get those always get huge views.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen your setup, Preacher. I like it with the black walls and
I tried to do a little something different. I was doing green screen for a while and I hated the way that looked. Only because it didn't, whatever's with my lighting, it didn't want to work right. So I don't like what the wall behind me is basically plywood, or particle board. I'm sorry, particle board. Looks janky. Yep. And so I was like, I got just a nice little like wall or room divider screen, and I'm probably gonna put something here eventually, and I might fill that out a little bit. I don't know. I mean, technically I have an undergraduate and another master's degree somewhere in my room. I have no idea where they're at, but I could put those up with those. But I've got I've got one master's and a doctorate. One of those two. I can't. Let's see. That's the doctorate, and that's the master's. But so I figured it did the job. It actually looks halfway decent, so it's not.
I'm gonna find a degree that says you have 55 credit hours. I'm just gonna stick it right there on the wall, so everybody can be proud of me.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But I put this Me camera up, this 4K camera I got, and I realized that I need decorations. I need something.
You need, I mean, overall, it looks pretty decent because you have like your TV and the wood. What is that called? The stand or whatever, and also an amazing deer head, which actually, true story. I sold a deer head at my sister's yard sale about like a month ago. That a friend, I guess, of mine that used to live in Kentucky, he shot and killed it himself. Got it stuffed in taxidermy. He brought it here when he was going to leave his wife, but then his wife came all the way down from Kentucky and tried to like shame him into going back.
Just come down.
It was a whole thing. Like it was actually on my Twitch stream. We actually were streaming me, him, and another guy, and then like his wife showed up in the middle of it. It was really weird. It was really awkward. And she like pretended that the kid was like wouldn't go to sleep without his dad there, and you could tell the kid just woke up. He was like, "Oh, I just want dad," and she tried to like shame him. It was weird, and she's the one that was like, I think, kind of like trying to kick him out. She was basically, she wanted to divorce him, and then all this stuff. He's like, okay, fine, okay, and then I'll go down and then she, I guess, what she was trying to do was get him to like, oh no, whatever you want, babe. whatever you want. And it didn't go that way. He was okay, then fine, we'll get divorced.
Grovel.
Yeah. He's like, fine, I'll go, live with my friends. And that didn't go the way she wanted. So she drove like overnight down from like 5 hours, 6 hours from Kentucky, dragged the kid with to try to shame him to come back. Anyway, when he went, he left me the deer head. He didn't want to take the deer head with him, and I've had it forever, and I'm not going to do anything with it. So I was like, I'll sell it, and there it is on your wall.
There it is, right here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I shot that deer. It was my first and only buck I've ever shot.
Really?
Because nothing I've seen's been. It's a 10 point. It's nothing, record breaking.
Right.
But
I mean, you've shot more bucks than I have.
I haven't seen a buck better looking than that one.
That's right. That's right. It's a handsome buck. Doesn't matter how many points. You can tell by how attractive its jawline is.
I'll give you 3 guesses as to what Paisley's named that deer.
3? I don't know. You just because I don't think the podcast people want to.
Bucky.
Oh,
Anyway.
Bucky. Okay, no, that's good. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I was just. Well, no, it's not that I didn't like it. I just don't think they want to sit and hear me sit here for 5 minutes being like, Bobby, just like mumble through like a bunch of names. But yeah, that is interesting. No, that makes sense. Bucky. That's cute.
Bucky.
I'm sure it's cute when she says it too, especially
Simple,
little Paisley.
easy to remember.
So our topic, well, I don't know, our starting topic. I have no idea what we'll talk about long term. But our starting topic, as my friends know, I've been kind of just doing the job searching scene. And part of that is using LinkedIn. And my frustrations have grown with that site. It is mostly just like I don't feel like it's actually good for networking much anymore. Like it used to be like there's actually like professionals kind of communicating with each other and people inside the industry, and you could actually put out an opinion and it was really interesting and other people would engage with it. Now it is just gurus trying to convince people who are job searching to use their services, and they know how to find the job. That's basically like everything is fake platitudes, and like one is like, oh, your PhD is your experience, or it is your resume. You go out and they try to give you like all these positive things that pump you up, but it's like, okay, but that doesn't actually, how do I manifest that? And they're like, oh, for that you have to subscribe to my newsletter, or you have to pay to be a part of our weekly, lessons, or you have to pay for our services. And so I don't know, like LinkedIn has something that I think should be a valuable resource. I believe it's just went the same way that like a lot of social medias went, where it's just content producers trying to make money, and they're all disingenuous and they're all fake and they all have the answer for how you're supposed to do something. And it's just them fighting with each other for the few people who are desperate and will be like, ooh, I'll pay this person to help me, get a job or whatever. I don't know. You were saying something like you were reading.
I was reading the Q3 reports, the financial reports from LinkedIn, and I've lost them here because I was reading the mission statement for LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And the mission statement for LinkedIn is: the mission of LinkedIn is simple: connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. And I think you're right. I think when it started, the idea behind it was marvelous.
Mm-hmm.
Use the internet to connect all these different small business owners and stuff so they could network and advertise and, learn from the more successful business owners. But honestly, my only interaction with LinkedIn I have now is deleting emails.
Yep.
Because this person or that person wants to make me famous. They know how to do it better than I do. Yada yada, just like you were saying. And so that really turned me off from ever using LinkedIn. Besides, I'm forklift certified, so I don't need a new job.
Yeah, I've been using LinkedIn, but it's the problem with LinkedIn, one of the problems, is that when a job gets posted on it, I mean, by the time let's say they have it set for a month, right? It goes up for a month. They get like 15,000 replies, right? And that's just, so your resume just gets lost in a infinite wave. And so everybody who posts on LinkedIn, most of them use AI services to filter the applications they get or the responses they get. And those AI like HRs are garbage. They don't work. They I always tell this story that was real. I read it online I read it from an official source, like an actual academic source online, I should say, not just random Google. But there was a company who put out, they've been scouting a particular like expert in the field or something, and they really wanted him to come work for them. And so after they'd spent a lot of time, months, like convincing him to come work for them, in order for like his application to be official, it had to go through the system. And they put out a job listing on their site specifically for this guy. They geared the like requirements that their AI would look for to match his they used his resume to make the AI look for stuff, right? He went and applied for the job on their internet and got an immediate reply, on their website, and got an immediate reply from their website saying, "We have decided to go with someone else. As your application does not meet our standards," or something like along those lines. So a job that they created specifically for someone got rejected by their AI automated system. And after that, he was like, because they're like, "Oh no, we can fix it." And he was like, "Nah, I'm good, thanks. I'm not going to come work for a company that can't even get this much right. Like if you're doing this this wrong, then I don't have any desire to work for you." But that just shows you how inaccurate, how like, I don't know, impersonal and just like completely artificial the job searching process is. And also just, I don't know, man. To me, it just makes HR people seem so lazy that like, I get when you get thousands of replies, that could be very time consuming, but there's got to be a point where you realize like you might be missing some of the best applicants because you're just relying on your AI and you're hoping it does a good job.
Yeah, you're basically just pouring everything in a colander and hoping everything goes through. And
then what it turns it into is instead of intelligent people who are just being honest on their resumes, what it turns it into is you have to play a game where you have AI write your resume up for you using certain hoping that the keywords that it uses will hit the AI keywords that their site is looking for. And even if it's not honest, even if it's dishonest or if it's inaccurate, it's like it has to rewrite I've seen services that are advertised where they're like, "We will redo your resume for each job, making it fit what their job's looking for." And it's like, but that doesn't mean, that's not what I have, that's not my skill set. And so you're going to get a lot of people who basically have to just lie and bullshit their way into a lot of positions, and they're going to be the ones getting the jobs because they're getting the interviews. Instead of people who are just like honest on the resume, but they didn't realize that your company likes to use certain key terms. The applicant calls it something else and your company calls it another term, and so there's no connection.
They just missed out on it entirely.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It is a very broken system right now. I'm looking at an article right here where it said LinkedIn is the symbol of the dead internet, and
not according to LinkedIn.
Yeah, well, it says is the persistent decline in LinkedIn's average quality due to AI generated content is the problem, and it's why another thing I think LinkedIn actually has is they're having the same thing happen to them that happened to Twitter, happened to Facebook. They have a lot of fake ass accounts. A lot of repeat accounts. A lot, so they're like, "Oh, our user base is up." It's like, no, it's not. You've got a bunch of robot farms that are pumping out profiles to try to capture people into their whatever their system is, whatever their make money, sell our services system is, and it's also decreasing the quality of the actual content. I can't remember who I was telling it about. Maybe it was you, maybe it was Placebo. But I was saying every time I'm trying to think of how to. LinkedIn sends people invites to comment on like questions and articles that are based on their expertise. Like I get asked to do communication. I get asked to do like influencer marketing stuff, and put an opinion out there. And I read some of the other replies, and they're all so generic. They're all so that you can if you're actually reading them and processing them, they all sound like someone trying to almost write like a bad paper. Like when you get students who don't know what they're talking about, but they just try to use they string together a bunch of fancy words they think make sense. But you can tell when you're actually reading it, like there's no actual content here. You're just talking in platitudes the whole time.
That was me in school.
Yeah,
just so you know.
That's fair. But that's LinkedIn in a nutshell, I think. It's just a bunch of fake ass profiles fighting over the few people who are genuine on that platform. And like, okay, let me give you another example. Here's a YouTube video talking about why your LinkedIn profile is dead and how to fix it. And then it's like, is LinkedIn dead? No, you're just not posting correctly. Like the whole thing is people trying to convince you, no, LinkedIn's not. You just need to use me. You need to listen to, like, that's the entirety of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It's just people trying to convince you that, no, you could get the job of your dream if you just pay me or watch my content or engage in my stuff. I don't know. It just seems very fake and disingenuous instead of people genuinely trying to connect and talk about business and content and that kind of stuff. It's more about people trying to push themselves. And I don't know, it's just frustrating because if you're a person looking for a job, you would like to feel like you have a chance of being seen and having genuine interactions with people, but it doesn't, it doesn't work that way.
So, in your opinion, are there any redeeming qualities from LinkedIn? Like, is the user interface good? Is it easy to set up your account and put your resume on there?
Yes, to a degree. Yes, I wish it was good. Like, I wish it wasn't filled with fake, because I do think at a core level it could work the way it's intended. The other problem is, and here's another huge issue: the free version of LinkedIn, which used to be just LinkedIn, now is trash. And they won't push you. They won't show you to recruiters. You have to do their premium version. And the cheapest version of the premium version is like $50 a month. So,
holy cow.
Yeah, so for it to be even remotely functional, and for you to actually get seen, and for you to actually get really good insights onto, like, they'll be like, oh, there's this many people who have, applied to this job, or there's this many people who are better than you at this job, or you're the top applicant, or whatever. For it to do that on a regular basis, you have to pay $50 a month. It's like, well, I'm looking for a job. That means I don't have money. Like, $50 a month is insane, and that's the cheapest. They have it going up to like $120 a month or something. Yeah,
so
no,
it's pay to win.
Yes,
basically.
That's exactly. They completely sabotaged.
Pay to have the premium account. You got to pay to have the right AI bot to put the right keywords in, so that your resume, whether it's genuine or not, will get noticed by these corporations and companies. That's ridiculous. I hate that. I hate, this is just me, video games that are pay to win.
Yep, same thing.
I hate that. It takes all the skill out of it. It takes all the humanity out of it, is what it does.
I agree.
And you were kind of leaning on that earlier, that it does. It takes all the humanity out of it. It used to be, you sent your resume in, somebody would call you, a person would call you on the phone and say, hey, we looked at your resume, we like it, we'd like for you to come in for an interview. And like, as a person, that was always a gratifying phone call.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of different jobs. I've worked and done a lot of different things. But that, just working for people who understand you're a person and not just a 15,001 applicant,
Mm-hmm. Well, even just getting turned down. I wish, that's another frustrating element of the job search, is almost none of them will actually send you a message back. They just never reply.
They
A
just
few
ghost
of
you.
them do, and you can tell they're automated. They're like, oh, bah, 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 and you're like, okay, that doesn't help. And so, as an applicant, I'm like, what could I change? What is wrong with my application? What am I doing for your company? Because your company, it felt like it would be a great fit. I looked and I saw what you were looking for. I could meet that. I could blah, blah, blah. What is the failure, and what could I do to change? Like, there's no guidance on what you're doing wrong.
Yeah, give me
They
some
just
class
expect,
notes or
yeah,
something.
they just expect you to like magically know what their AI is thinking or know what they're looking for. It's very frustrating because you just feel like you're endlessly filling out applications and spending, and like the going practices or the modern practices or whatever they tell you to do is you have to gear each time they ask for a cover letter. You have to gear it to that company. So you kind of have to rewrite it a little bit for that company. And then you have to do the same thing with your application. You have to kind of, it's like so much work for zero payoff. And it's like they put the entire emphasis or the, not emphasis, but they put the onus on the applicant to do all this work, like almost like you're working for free. You have to spend hours constantly adjusting your resume, rewriting your cover letter. If you're doing like a professorship, which is what a lot of I've been going for, they ask for teaching philosophy statements, sometimes a diversity statement, it's like they ask for all these documents that you have to just spend all this time rewriting for each organization or each university or whatever. And it's like, who do you think has all this time just for your, like, of course we're applying to 50 different companies because we can't just sit and wait for you to never respond. It's like the fact that they're like, no, you have to tailor it so that you know you love us. It's like, that's delusional, man. Like, of course I'm looking anywhere that'll give me money. Like, I'm not, it's ridiculous to be like, oh, go ahead.
Well, the obvious answer to what you said first was, how do I know how to do it better? You got to subscribe to a guru.
No, that's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And the gurus will teach you how to do it right. Okay?
Right. That's the whole point.
That's the obvious fix. You just have to pay for a guru. And that's probably why they're on there.
Be honest, I've seen advertisements for, now they're doing AI services for the applicant where it will, not only will it rewrite your resume for you, but it will do all the applications for you. It will look up the jobs that theoretically meet what you're looking for and send your applications to all these, so you don't even have to be on doing it. The program will do it in the background for you. And it's gotten to the point where we were making a joke about this in a previous podcast where it's just AI talking to each other. There's no humans involved. It's just AI just communicating with each other. It's gotten that bad to where
That's the future.
I mean, I don't want it to be the future. I don't like it.
I like talking to people.
I want to
interaction.
Exactly. I want to know who I'm going to be working with. I want to make even I'm going to talk to Black Ram. No, not Black Ram. Black Jack, the guy that flew the UAVs for the government.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm gonna start helping with his organization some. And he's like, well, yeah, that sounds great. Just send me your resume so I can figure out exactly what your strengths are, and I can. And I was like, well, I'll do that, but I really want to talk to you first and kind of describe it because my resume is so broad. Like I've done so much and so many different things that I don't think just sending my resume would be 5 pages long if I listed every weird job that I've done that gave me some level of experience in this, that, or the other. And so it's like, or even explaining what I'm good with now and what my knowledge could be applied to isn't done on what a resume, you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't work well. That should just be getting your foot, and you're like, okay, there could be something there. That's what a resume is supposed to be. It makes them go, all right, he's kind of in the ballpark. Let's see what he actually knows in an interview. That's what the interview is for you to really figure out what a person is capable of. And yet, I find that that's not how it works anymore. Everything is just keywords. Do you hit the keywords?
Yeah, I mean, when I applied for Walmart, I used Indeed. I didn't talk to a single person until they called me and said, "Hey, we'd like you to come in for an interview." But I didn't talk to anybody.
Oh, you know what's funny? That's 80% of what LinkedIn does. You click on so you can apply through LinkedIn. They have for companies, if you want, you can do a quick reply or a quick apply. I'm sorry, and it will just use your profile and like the information on your profile to send it to them. But so many companies don't do that. They have apply, and then all that does is send you to another website that they have their application process on. I've had some send me to LinkedIn, sent me to Indeed, which then sent me to their company. So it was like 3 different levels of separation from the LinkedIn apply here button to the actual place where you had to apply. And then here's the best part. Then you have to type in, they go, oh, we have company questions. So you upload your resume to them, and then they ask you questions. But the questions are all just stuff that would be on every single resume, like school experience and work experience. And it's like, then why did you have me upload my resume? Like, what's the point of me uploading my resume if you're just going to make me type out my resume on your website? It's crazy. I don't know. It's the whole thing is like insane. I miss the days of when you would go somewhere local and you would hand them your resume because you knew you would click with them. It's like, hey, how you doing? Here's the resume.
You see a now hiring sign, and you pull in the driveway, and you'd walk in and say, hey, I saw you're hiring.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Just don't do that anymore.
It's because I've had family members that worked at a company, and they're like, okay, yeah, we'll talk to somebody and see if we can't get you an interview. And then they came back and they're like, oh, they say they don't do that anymore. You have to go through their website, even if you're here. Like, you can't walk in and hand a resume, or you can't set it. You have to go through their system. And it's like,
and Walmart's like that too. Like, you can't just walk in and ask for an application.
Yeah,
they say, oh, well, you'll have to go home and get online and do this and this and this. But I complain about Walmart, but it's
well, I mean, you're an old soul, and I'm an old man.
Walmart's watching. Oh,
love Walmart. Walmart's the best.
Walmart's the best.
Keep it paying me. I love it.
Stock prices are going up, though. The stock prices are going back up.
That's right.
They did. Not to get too far off topic.
No.
I mentioned something earlier that I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
You said that there was a teacher philosophy statement.
Uh-huh.
And for a simpleton like me, I think that means like, how do you approach teaching?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
It's like your approach to it. That's
I copied mine off the internet somewhere because I don't.
Who plagiarism
cares? I will teach the students the content. I mean, most of the stuff I'm looking for is remote, which does make it harder. But it's like remote teaching, and 90% of remote teaching is just you're there to answer any questions they have, and you like every week you you send out a little message to everybody. It's like, hey, this week I know that you'll do great. Keep striving, and here's what we're gonna do this week, right? And then you just sit there and you grade papers. It's like I can grade papers. I don't have a teaching philosophy. I mean, I know what they're wanting. They're wanting me to be. What it is like, I will take each student into account individually, and I look at what they need personally to succeed and grow, and I will take the time to listen to them and cuddle their balls as I suck them off.
You gotta butter those biscuits, baby.
It's like,
you gotta butter them.
And that's what so I wrote some lovely, fluorescent, brilliant,
Shakespearean-esque.
Yes. Like, oh, yes. I sound like I am a woman. Here's my teaching philosophy. Oh, I feel what they feel. I try to empathize deeply with the student. Oh.
You are the most empathetic person I think I know.
That's not good, man. That is not good.
That's not a good thing?
No, I am not. I'm not particularly empathetic. No, I mean, I'm not horribly unempathetic. I'm just not super touchy-feely. I do try to, I guess, think what other people are processing or where they're coming from, but
I think as a teacher, you have to do that. You have to have some way of understanding where the student's coming from, and that goes for like all age groups. It's like you have to have like kind of a knowledge of the background of the child in order to like know how to teach them personally. And then, when COVID happened, nobody was in a classroom.
Yeah.
And I think that, LinkedIn should have flourished. It should have flourished in COVID. Skype did well. All those things they did well. But it just took the humanity factor out of so many aspects of job searching, work in general.
Yeah.
And prayers for all the students that had to go through that,
Mm-hmm.
especially like older students could probably do okay
Yeah.
with it. But when you have like kindergartners and first graders that are so used to that
It's the developmental stages. Yes.
exactly.
Yeah,
They don't
'cause-
get to socialize or anything
Exactly.
like
I
that.
was gonna
They
say
miss
that's
out
what
on
I
all
look
of it.
for. Like when I was looking for a university to go to, I was looking for one that had online. Everything was online because I was like, I did the whole like in-person college, and I was like, this is a waste of time. I hate being in class because all it is a bunch of brats talking to each other, pretending like they're intellectuals because they feel so good that they're in class, and we just waste time. And then I still have to do all the work and all the actual research and learning outside of the class. So I was like, I'm sitting here for 3 hours a week in this class, and then I've got another class and another class and another class, and all those classes, it's like 15, 20 hours a week, somewhere in that range, just in class, not including the out of class work that it requires. And that's completely wasted. Like I could just be spending this at home, getting stuff done and learning instead of wasting my time hearing.
God forbid you're a student
Johnny.
athlete.
Oh
that
yeah,
has to go to practices and workouts and then makes at least a little bit of time for your social life. Like I realized very quickly, and this is my personal opinion, not reflective of the channel whatsoever, that college is the most successful pyramid scheme you'll ever find. I think it's a
I agree.
scam.
I think, well, here's the problem. College could be great, and what it was 40, 50 years ago was awesome. It had high density of resources for you to learn high level information. But what ended up happening is the schools realized they can make a lot more money if they let dumb people in and keep dumb people in. And then it actually got worse when there was all these student loans that were government funded because everybody could get a loan. And so the schools even tried harder to make sure they kept students in because they knew the students don't even have to have money. They'll just get it from
they'll just end up $300,000 in debt.
But they don't care because the university's like, well,
arts degree.
Yeah, it doesn't come back. It never comes back on the university, right? Like the fact that they don't even give you, and they don't give you a degree that's even, most degrees aren't applicable in the real world. Like I'm just telling, like most scholastic, there are a few that are really good and applicable, but especially undergraduate, I mean, there's maybe 5. There's like 5 decent, like engineer, maybe computer science a lot of times if you're really good at computer science, and you took the time to actually learn computer science while you were in, like programming and stuff while you're in your courses, that can manifest over into a real job. But most other ones, you're looking at least needing a master's or a PhD to even have it like remotely matter. And by that point in time, a PhD, even if you went straight through, which most people don't, it's really hard to figure out everything you want. You're like, oh, I didn't actually like that. I take that back.
Oh
but
yeah, I was
even if you go straight through, it's like 100 and something K. Like you're well over 100K in debt. I'm actually well over that because I got 2 masters before I got my PhD, and it took me a while for the PhD. And I'm very happy with mine because I think what I did is actually applicable to the current marketplace. I researched what makes streaming communities grow, why they are clicking, what makes them want to engage with a channel, why are people emotionally connected with a stream, and what's real and genuine with the relationship and the communication. Anyway, it's something that marketers could absolutely use to apply, right? Like they could, knowing what captures people's desire to feel like they belong and to feel a sense of emotional connection with a channel, obviously is a very impactful measure for any company if they're wanting to, say, advertise with an influencer. If you're wanting to advertise with a streamer, you need to know if your product would, 1, fit with that streamer, like with their content, but also 2, you kind of got to be able to figure out if that streamer is filled with a bunch of people that are kind of like not really there for the streamer and they don't really care. They just like, they're kind of, it's like very surface level. And then there's some channels that are very like, the users are connected. And if that guy says, I like this product and I use it, they will absolutely go and try that product out. There's a big connection there, and knowing how that works and I guess the deeper theories behind all that make it to where I can. It's not just streaming. I can do it with almost all social media, right? So I'm happy with mine. I feel like mine is applicable to the marketplace, but the problem is there's so many goofball PhDs out there now. There's like the racism of smelling, why deodorant is matriarchal or whatever, a sign of the patriarch, and it's like, this is a bullshit. They just made stuff up the entire time, and now they've got a PhD, right? Like and it devalues my actual PhD that I actually put time in research and did something genuine. So I could not agree with you more, man. Like, I think as it stands now, universities have absolutely figured out the Ponzi scheme, and they are just ripping people off left and right. And there's no repercussions, right? Because argument,
you signed the paper and you took out the loan
exactly
because you wanted to go to school,
and
they didn't make you go to school.
Now at this stage, it's interesting because I'll tell you how it was when I went to this is like 2000 was when the fall of 2000 was my first year of undergraduate. At that point in time, we had the high school what are they called? The people that they tell you what to do, or they help you.
The
counselor, high school
counselors.
counselors.
Yeah,
gosh, my brain was freezing. High school counselor. They were like, "Oh no, you have to go to college. College is the blah blah. That you'll make X amount of money, and then when you go to college for your like interviews or whatever, your previews to see if you like the college, they do the same. They have charts, and they handed you pieces of paper showing this is people who have a high school degree. This is people with college, master's, and look how much more money over your lifetime you'll make. And it's like they clearly set it up as like this is the solution." Right, like they basically lied to you, and so many people, especially my generation, were just everybody, right? Because all of our grandparents, they were told that too. So they're telling you, oh, you got to go to college. Your parents, oh, you got to go to college. Extended family, oh, you got to go to college. And it really is unfair that everybody who was supposed to be an official source of information, a source of knowledge for a younger student, was telling them this is the right choice. And then 20, 25 years later, everybody's like, well, you signed the paper. It's like, well, no, I signed the paper with basically the guarantee, the promises that started basically from the university's lying, that this was going to result in me getting work and me getting a good job and me, so on and so forth. That didn't happen. The universities are not providing what they're promising, but they're not being held responsible. That's kind of, this argument now is, who should pay off the student loans, right? It's like, and I do think it's unfair to charge everybody for the student loans, right? But I also think it's unfair to charge people who were lied to and got sold a product that they didn't get. Most of these people did not get the degrees that they were promised. They were promised degrees that would result in work, and they didn't get it. I think, and it's like, we can't hold the people who are responsible, which are the universities. I think the universities and the banks who signed up with the government to say, well, oh yeah, we don't need credit score. Just give them a $50K a year loan to an 18-year-old over the next 8 to 10 years of their life. Yeah, we'll sign off on that. It's all good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, and for some reason, we can't hold either one of those two. It's like those are off the table. We can't hold them responsible. So it's either got to be the government pays for it, which means other citizens, which is absurd. It's not anybody else's result. Or the people who were lied to and manipulated into getting that debt, they have to be held responsible. But for some reason, no one's been like, we should be holding the universities need to start paying that money back. The banks need to start paying that money. Like, there's got to be some issues here because the students were lied to get those loans in the first place. It's not a fair.
100% manipulation.
Yeah.
100%. They still had all those charts in 2014, just by the way.
Okay.
Because I got told that if I got my degree in athletic training, sports medicine, I would, and this is how much percentage of their graduates got jobs immediately following graduation. This was their median annual income.
Oh yeah.
You do this, you'll get this. You will do this, you will get that.
Absolutely. And you're driving a forklift, and I'm making podcasts for free. So that's where Neither one of us.
yeah.
Neither one of us used our glorious college experiences to further our lives at this point.
I recently had the thought, because I do have 50 something credit hours.
Yeah.
I'm this close to an associate's. I had the thought of just going back, just so when I do try to move up into management at my work,
You would have an associate.
That-
Yeah.
that they'll see that.
I think
And,
it.
you know,
Okay, in that instance, I think it would be okay because you already have a massive amount of work experience. So the degree is kind of just that extra little like nudge that a lot of people like to see.
yeah.
That
just
they
to
go,
get
oh,
noticed,
he's
you know.
intelligent. Oh, he can, get a project done or whatever.
Yeah. But then the, American blue collar worker in me thinks, why do I need that? I've done every job in the building. I've been here for almost 5 years. Why are they not just looking at that? But no, they're going to hire Tom, Dick, and Harry off the street because
Yep.
they have a college degree.
Yep. No, it's a weird setting to where people who don't have college degrees there's a glass ceiling for them. There's a ceiling for how
Yeah,
high they can
exactly,
rise.
yep.
But then people who do get the college degrees, a lot of times they don't get hired in the first place because companies don't want to pay them or they're just not useful. But companies have gotten to the point where they just don't care. They're like, okay, I don't like your degree or whatever. And I mean, there are a lot of useless degrees. Like, I mean, let's be honest. There's,
Communication.
No, most communications still work because, right, you still have like ESPN, you still have news channels, you still have a lot of things that use communication. I mean, even like newspapers and magazines and all of that use communication. So you can kind of, I was thinking more of like women's studies and stuff that is like, what actual profession does that apply to other than like a
You just
nonprofit?
have to hope like Nat Geo comes through and asks you for an interview
Yeah,
because you have this degree.
or you become part of a consulting firm, right? Like that's about the only thing you can do with that is and then you
Oh,
go
that would
into
be cool.
companies and you tell them, how to right the wrongs of humanity over the past 50 years of how they've treated women, and that's why you have so many of these. That's actually like we're bringing it back to some of the stuff we've talked to in the past. Like you've seen that with video games, with movies, an increase in a focus on DEI hiring, right? And that's a big reason. It's because that's what everybody has their degrees in now, is some form of social science research, right? Or social science theory crafting. And so people don't have any actual usable skills. It's all like, well, let me just tell you how bad people have it, and then you're supposed to fix it.
Feel
I don't-
bad for them.
Huh?
Fix the problems. And really, that's what we strive to do. You and I, preacher.
Mhm.
We're here. We're gonna make this podcast, and we're gonna fix people's problems. We're gonna
Oh yeah.
educate them on why LinkedIn is garbage. Don't use it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. People are going. The 6 to 8 people that will watch this will have their lives changed by me being grumpy about these various topics and whining about it. I firmly
Yeah.
believe that they will go out and grow and be stronger because they'll be like, I was going to do this thing, but then preacher was all like whiny wah about it, and now I'm not going to because his
Exactly.
whining really touched me in my heart and really touched me in my soul. And
That's right. Changing lives.
yeah,
One podcast at a time.
one unwatched podcast at a time. There you go. I'm gonna throw out. I'm sure Opus Clips will give me some great clips that will cut halfway in between the actual funny statements or the meaningful statements, and it'll like cut halfway in between two of them, and then I'll have to try to figure out how to put it together into an actual clip, and then it comes up with these titles for the clips, and I don't know how to change them yet. I haven't figured out the software yet on how to, so I'm just stuck with whatever the AI decides the title should be, and so it's giving me some doozies. There was one the Placebo was talking about. It was like I got dumped by dating. Listen here as he tells all. It was like the most like clickbait title ever, and I didn't come up with it. It was purely AI, and I was like, oh well, content was halfway down. Yeah,
Send it.
send it. Sorry,
That's
there'll
right.
be another one tomorrow.
We'll try again later to have a relevant title to that.
The
I'm
problem
curious
is-
to see what
Oh, go
clips
ahead.
you can pull out of this.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be.
And what the names of those would be.
There'll be plenty. I guarantee there'll be plenty. I'm not
One
too.
thing I need to get better at is editing videos. I've got the programs.
Go ahead.
I just don't have the time.
Well, yeah, that's why I started using Opus Clips. When listen,
Opus?
it's not perfect. Opus, OPUS. It's not perfect. It is absolutely not perfect, but it is. It does a good job. It does a good enough job for where we're at now, and it saves probably 10 plus hours a week of editing, because it used to take 10 hours to go through and try to find little sections for me to cut up for clips and edit, because you'd have to go for it. Oh, well, actually, that sounded like a pretty good idea. Let me go back here, cut it here, and then and you couldn't pull it out. I had to save that one clip and then go back, and it took forever. And
Yes.
I was like, I can't do this. We're not going to have clips if this is what I can't do this. I don't have the patience. It's not, God did not bless me in a way that I want to do this or can do this.
I have neither the patience.
Yeah. And Opus Clips is pretty good, but the problem is you do have to pay for it. In the end, you do have to pay for it. They have a free that you could do probably one episode, but then after that, it's you have to pay, but I would say it's worth it. If you're actually going to try to make content and you're actually going to try to make shorts, it's $200 is for an entire year, and it saves just immaculate amount of time. I mean, immaculate. That's not even the right. Immense. Well, I mean, I guess it's immaculate how much it saves. But anyway, it is I highly, if you're starting and you're a small podcast or a small whatever you're doing, because it's not always, small content. I think it is a great tool because it does so much. It does hashtags for you, so you don't have to type in your own hashtags and figure out what it chooses the most popular hashtags and uses those. It does, it'll provide the lettering on the screen for you, so as you're saying it'll pop up the words for you. You don't have to go in and type that in. You don't have to do it yourself.
Oh, it captions it for you?
Yeah, it does everything for you. It's very nice. It's a very nice software. I mean, unless you're making so much money that you can pay an editor to go through and do all that, I would use Opus.
There's a running joke between Dankus Flyer and me that he's going to be my whips, because he this is completely unrelated to the topic and probably not podcast related.
No, it's not. You were talking about clips and editing. Go ahead.
He made himself intro and included clips, included his motorcycle clips where he had his GoPro on.
That's cool.
And it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I know that with my limited articulation in my fingers, there's no way I could make something like that. I just don't have the wherewithal. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the skill. But I used to, since we're talking about Opus, I used to use a program called Athenoscope.
Uh-huh.
And I was real big on that because it would just download your stream, and it would cut it up into all your action clips, and it would just make videos ready to post, and you just post it, and whoop, there it goes.
That's basically what Opus Clip does, but it's made for dialogue, so it pays attention to what you're saying, and then it can choose poignant moments or whatever, and it actually does a pretty good job. Amazingly, it actually usually chooses an actual concept and clips a concept out. So I mean, it's basically the same idea, and I love it. I mean, it's not perfect. It'd be best if you could actually find a human who you can communicate and go, here's what we're looking for with these, and they go, oh yeah, and they understand the vibe of the podcast, and they can really cut it up and make it really sharp. But most people don't have that kind of money. So
you got to start making money before you can do
you got to be making a lot of money before you're ready to pay somebody.
And now we're rounding back to the pay to win type situation that we're in, because if you have all that capital going into something like this, you can build a studio, you can hire production people, you can do all this stuff, and then of course Joe Rogan's going to be a famous podcaster. I love Joe Rogan. I'm not talking bad about him at all.
No, I agree. But if you start, and he started with the fan base already too, right?
Exactly.
That's like T-Pain or anybody who's famous and then starts doing podcasts. It's you started with like 500 to 1,000 people just right off the bat. They were going to watch your pod. You're like, that takes
Yeah,
people
you had
a
million
decade.
followers on your Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, already. Just because you knew the right person.
Like normal people, that's going to take them a decade to build to that point of just constant grinding and working it like a real job to get like 1,000 viewers. Like that's, and even then it may not happen.
You know
so
what
yeah.
I think?
What?
I think at a certain level of popularity, like for a Twitch streamer or a YouTube streamer, at a certain level, you get capped, and then only the big dogs decide who gets to be famous. But everything's a conspiracy to me. And that's a different podcast.
I mean, you're seeing that actually. You're seeing a lot of turmoil in the online content creation groups and space. Like, remember when like Asmongold and Tectone used to have Imaru, and they had a podcast they did together, and they kind of all knew the Valkyrie, the Pokemon, like they all kind of were in a little, and even Hassan was kind of in that group where they would sometimes dual stream with each other, and it was, but now they're all at each other's throats. I mean, because what happened was some of them came out as being a little bit, even not even just rational, but slightly conservative, and the other ones are like, you know, far off on the other end. And so obviously now you have to fight each other, and they're all like suing each other. It's crazy. Like Tectone's getting sued by this person, he's suing a person, Hassan's fighting this person, and this person's fighting this person, and they're suing another. And they used to all be friends, and they're all breaking up because that's basically what it was. It was
That's
just
what money does.
It was just a bunch of people who were using each other to get famous, and then eventually the reality was they didn't all agree with how to do business. They didn't actually agree on worldview. They didn't agree with a lot of stuff, and now they're clashing. And you're seeing Twitch favor certain people over other people, which is fine. I mean, I think Twitch is a trash platform. Actually, I hate Twitch, but because of this, I think it absolutely, it does not apply the rules equally. There are some people who will do way worse things and get almost no punishment. And there's people who do very little, and they get like the ban hammer for death, right? And so, you know, I'm seeing a lot of people move over to YouTube, Rumble, Kick. They're all like starting to spread out. Like even people like Tim the Tap Man, he's doing both YouTube and Twitch at the same time. Even though he went back to Twitch, he's still holding his YouTube, and I think his YouTube's actually still outviews his Twitch now.
I'm pretty sure it does.
But
especially with all the short videos and stuff he puts up there.
Yeah, and so like I don't know, it's a very much like a high school social club. That's what the streamer, like the upper end of the streamer community, that's what it turned into. It was just people who, I don't like her. Do you like her? I don't like her. Oh, do you like him? Oh, sure, I like him. No, I don't like him. And they all bicker and fight, and it's stupid.
Yeah,
because
man.
they all. Oh, go ahead.
I wish I was making enough money on Twitch that would be a problem to me. Like,
oh yeah, of course.
I don't like you and your 500,000 viewers you have every stream. I'm not gonna do that with you. And it's like, because really, at a small level, the only way you can grow and expand, unless you're throwing money at TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and you're doing 40 hours a week of video editing and whatnot.
Yeah.
Those people deserve it. They can have it. They need to be famous because they're putting the work in. I don't have that kind of time.
Agreed.
But like at a certain point, you have to cooperate with people.
Yep.
In order to move up, and then as a group, the group moves up. And then, like you said, as soon as you get to a certain point, now everybody's got proprietary means intermingled with everybody. And well, that was my idea, but then you did it and you made more money, so I'm going to sue you because you took my idea.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
What actually happened is a lot of them realized that they were getting a lot more money talking about drama. And then when they talked about the drama of the other streamers, the streamers are suing them for libel, but then the other streamers have done the same thing to other people, and then it's like they're fighting. They're all fighting each other. They all call each other stupid now. It's not just about proprietary. It's like they're bickering over, oh, this guy's opinion, I hated it about, Hassan supports this radical group. Well, Asmongold supports this radical group. Well, they hate each other, and I'm going to do a video about it. But then they don't do it properly and legally, so they do it in a way that, like, they're libeling both of them, and it's insane. The thing people need to, I always say this, and I know Ply hates it because he loves streaming and he wants, but streamers are some of the most fake ass people on the planet, man. Like, and I'm not talking just about who they are off camera. I'm talking about on camera. Because, like, at least with Hollywood, an actor playing a medieval knight is not actually a medieval knight, right? Like, you're like, oh, that was 500 years ago. They're not actually that person. Whereas on streaming, people present themselves as, this is my actual personality. This is who I am. I'm so sweet and funny. And off air, they're like, I hate the people in my chat. They're so annoying. Or I hate streaming. They keep typing these stupid comments, blah, blah, blah. They're so completely different off air compared to who they are on air. And this is the big ones, or the people who have, that it's frustrating because they present themselves as being honest. That's a problem I have. Like, I actually don't have that big of an issue with Doc, even though I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he does and says. I don't have an issue with the way he presents himself because he's like, this is a character. Look, fake wig. I'm wearing this goofy ass outfit. I'm talking to a fake person named, what's his,
Oh, it's been a while since I've watched Doc.
Yeah, same. I forgot, but he has like a guy that he talks to off camera that's not actually a guy off camera, right? He just pretends he has an editor.
Anytime anything happens.
Yes. And so it's like, I can't believe I can't remember his name. It's so that's going to tick me off until I remember it. But
basically, it's his whips.
Yeah, it's exactly. I think that was the joke. It was kind of like his version of whips. And anyway, I don't mind him because he presents himself as fake. So you don't have the expectation that that's actually, even though he does sometimes, he mixes fake and real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes he'll put his real opinion out there. And I'm like, okay, you kind of need to choose a lane, man. But most of these streamers do present themselves as like, it's just me connecting to you, the audience, who oh, you're so funny. You're so funny.
Just
I
throw
love
the money.
And that's all they want.
It.
That's the money.
Take the money. Take the money.
That's really, it was unquestionably, in my research and in a bunch of other people's research, but especially mine, it was unquestionable. That was the primary driving force behind streaming. It was people's desire to feel like they're seen, to feel like they're part of a community, and to get a social feeling of like friendship, love, connectivity. That's what actually was making streams work and make money and flourish. It wasn't actually the content on air. Some of it is. I think Tim's pretty funny, right? Like, he's a pretty funny dude.
He's a pretty funny dude. Yeah.
And some people make money off of being good at a game, right? Like, so, yeah, a little bit. But most of them, the biggest ones, they make it because they're funny, but also they just have a way of connecting with the audience.
Yeah.
That's just streaming in general. That's what it does. That is the element that makes it work. And I talk about cybernetics. Twitch is set up to magnify this impact. So it has blurps. It has leaderboards for who subs, right? So you see your name. Oh, you want to see your name at the top. Everybody knows you're the best fan.
Yeah.
Oh, and when your blurp comes up and the streamer goes, woo, and you get he laughed at my blurp. Oh, I want to give him more money. Let me spend more money. To me, it's a little bit like, it does rub me the wrong way because it's like you're paying for friendship, and that's gross. To me, that is like forcing people to pay for friendship is a gross manipulation of human emotion, of human need, and you're like monetizing something that people want and desire anyway, right? I think there's a little bit to it. I mean, I get that, like, if you're a streamer, you can't expect a streamer to be full-time and not make some money off of it, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's a difference between going, you know what, I appreciate what you do and the content you make. I'm going to sub, or I'm going to gift I'm just going to gift a donation, versus having it set up in a way where you feel like the way that you can actually make your personality known and feel like you are expressing yourself, you have to pay in order to properly express yourself.
Then they have the sub-only chats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, you have to pay money so that I can see your chat. I will never, even if I do take off as a streamer and things go really good for me,
Mhm.
I'm never gonna do a sub only chat. It's
The one thing I
ridiculous.
get with that is it keeps a lot of the bots and trolls
Bots. Yeah.
at bay. Because there's a lot of
I
people who
had
just
that
come in
thought
and they
when I
just
said
come
it.
in to like complain and whine, and it's like, you know what, you're bringing down the whole vibe. Instead of making my mods kick 40 people every 30 minutes, I'm just going to make it a sub only. So only the people I know that like this channel enough to pay to watch it will, at least I know they're less likely to be negative trolls who are going to
Yeah.
bring down the vibe. So I kind of understand
Yeah.
that element in that sense. And if it's used that way, it's fine. But I agree with you. When they use it to try to just force people to sub in order to feel like they're part of the conversation, then that's
Or like
a
they only read super chats.
yeah.
And like their
Mhm.
minimum super chat is $10 or something. Like make it $1.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But
I
also
love
agree
Tim,
with
but I
you.
think he misses about. He will only read the big super chat because you can type in a $3 or $5 chat, and a lot of times it'll just. I mean, it'll still highlight, and everybody in the community will get to see it, right? And that's again what I was talking about. Cybernetics. The websites themselves are set up to make you feel like, oh, I paid money. Look, everybody sees.
Make you feel like a part of it. Man.
Yeah. Oh, everybody sees what I saw, and they react. They LOL'd. Whoo! They laughed at me. I'm funny and famous.
One thing I can
But-
guarantee you about Brodacious Gaming on Twitch,
Go ahead.
I'll
go
see
ahead.
your chat. I'll see
Yeah,
your
that's.
chat.
Yeah. No, that was. I think that's
You and the two other people talking, I will see your messages.
the
So if you
charm of
wanna
the
pay to have
smaller.
if you want to pay to have a friend on Twitch, come on down.
Yeah.
I'll be your friend.
I think. Well, no, there's people who actually, when I was streaming, like they would say that directly in the chat. Like, I look for small streamers. I prefer small streamers. Now, they would never say that way I'm seen and I get all the attention. And a lot of times those people, you could tell, like that's what it was, like, because they just, the second you started playing a game and you didn't catch every single one of their comments, gone. So all they wanted was the attention, right?
Yeah.
And I think Ply's done it, that's kind of what something he's done that's been pretty good is he recognized that's why people were watching, and his first hour and a half is him talking to chat, right? Like, or him just, he doesn't even play games hardly anymore. Because he realized people don't care if he's playing a game. They don't really. They love to give him a hard time. It's like, oh, where's the games? Where's the games? But in reality, when you look at what they spend money on and where his viewership peaks and where the engagement peaks, it's never when he's playing a game. It's always when he's talking and engaging and laughing at what they do. And so it shows, like, that's really what people are there for. They're there for the human engagement, the friendship, the camaraderie. That's what they want. And, he made I think the smart decision to shift over to that and go, okay, that's what you want. I'm going to give you what you want,
Yeah. Nothing
yeah.
against him though for that.
Oh, no,
Because
no.
because
no.
if you hadn't started streaming and Ply wasn't streaming and Ill Snow Gaming hadn't started streaming,
Yeah.
I would have never met you.
Yeah.
And I consider you a very close friend, even though you're
Agreed.
however many hours away in a whole different state.
Mm-hmm.
But there's good that can come of it. Getting into a stream and interacting and paying and really supporting somebody. You
Yeah.
can make these lasting friendships. So
Yeah, there's some of it does actually
Yeah.
manifest. It does eventually, because that I talked about this in one of my previous podcasts where I did it solo. I talked about how parasocial relationships, it's like a spectrum, and on one spectrum is like the viewer is purely connected to the streamer, but there's no return. But over time, there are some elements where sometimes relationships that weren't two-sided to begin with can become an actual genuine friendship and can manifest over time to be real. People can actually have an emotional connection with somebody and genuinely like them. I mean, I met Ply through that. I met, most of my friends that I have now, I've met all through online internet means,
Yeah.
So I'm not, it's not saying that it's impossible, but it is saying that I think it's also exceptionally easy to fake connection over the internet as well, right? Because you don't have.
Speaking of fake connections,
Okay.
we can go right back to LinkedIn with that. There is no personal relations on
Yep.
on LinkedIn. you're not going to make a friendship on LinkedIn because it's flooded with bots that are just trying to throw this person at this person and hope
Yep.
it sticks.
No, I agree.
And
I actually, there has been one guy local. He's actually a local. I don't know how he even found me, to be honest. But he sent me a friend invite on there, and I was like, oh, I'll check him out. And he's a pretty good dude. And he on LinkedIn, he's a financial advisor or something, right? But he's actually a local pastor around here. And so I've met up with him and talked a few times, and we're gonna have coffee again here probably in a couple weeks, and we just kind of shoot, I wouldn't say shoot the bull. I guess that's not quite the right term, but
He is a pastor.
Yeah, but we talk to each other and just kind of discuss things. So I guess it's not impossible, but it again, it's not set up for a lot of genuine. You have to really make it work.
Yeah, needle and haystack.
Yeah, needle in haystack. You know what? We've been going for an hour. I think that's probably a good. We've kind of naturally wound down and found a.
We started over here. We took
Yep.
a couple detours, went over the hill and through the woods.
Now we're
back
at Grandma's
to
house. Yeah, now we're at Grandma's house.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey Brody, I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me and recording a podcast. Hopefully, I mean, for the people who watch on YouTube, I'm guessing I have no idea when Ply will have time. I'm hoping to get him back in. We'll see how it works. I'll make no promises, but I know no matter what, I'll keep putting up something every week. Because I noticed that YouTube just dies if I don't put up content. Like at least once a week, I don't post an actual full podcast. It just the reach dies. So I've decided no matter what, if he contacts me or he doesn't contact me, I'm putting something up. But hopefully we'll be back to the normal flow, and we'll see where it goes. Who knows? Tune in next week to see what exciting different channel will be. But anyway, y'all have a blessed.
To see if Preacher hangs up to one of his masters behind his head.
That's right. Will I find the other degrees that's underneath 12 other pieces of paper that I have no idea where it's at?
Tune in next time.
Yeah, tune in next time. I'll give us a nice little music exit, and we'll get going.
All right.
Whoops. Nope, that's not it. That's it.
That wasn't it.
Transition. Yeah. And now I have music playing, but it's not playing. Oh, it's because it's muted.
The bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to